KURINJI Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
Free bus for LKG to 8th standard.
Free, hygienic and nutritious food.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
KURINJI Educational Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.in.
Hi students, so today we are going to discuss about Hydrosere, Xerosere and one more is Xerosere. So one is Hydrosere and second one is Xerosere. So in this particular video, so how these plants develops, so in aquatic ecosystem as well as in dry areas. Okay, so that information, so on this video let us learn. Hi students, so today now we are going to discuss about Hydrosere and one more is Xerosere. So this is a Hydrosere and here Xerosere. So now this Hydrosere we will be calling by one more name, that is hydrarch succession. Hydrarch succession. Now the plant's succession which takes place in aquatic environment is known as hydrarch succession. One more time, hydrarch succession is nothing but suppose if the plant succession that develops or that takes place in aquatic environment, so such kind of succession we will be calling as hydrarch. One more time, suppose if the plant's succession, plant's succession SUCCESSION, plant's succession takes place in aquatic environmental conditions. So such kind of succession simply we are calling as hydrarch, HYDRARCH, hydrarch succession. Now various stages definitely will be there, means definitely here only one stage will not be there, definitely a series of stages will be there, no. So now the series of succession in water we will be calling as Hydrosere. So that is only I am going to give you by one more time. Various stages of their succession are collectively called as Hydrosere. Hydrosere. Next one, the successional series is progress from the hydric to mesic conditions. So here this bit already I have given in a previous video. So there are different types of successional series over there. Suppose if the succession is starting in water, that we will be calling as hydric, isn't it? So definitely even though succession is started in a water, definitely must be reached to the mesic conditions. Definitely it must be reached to the mesic conditions. So now here one point I would like to mention, that point is even though the succession is started in hydric, that is moving towards the mesic. Likewise, even though succession is started at hydric xeric conditions, that time also definitely means here xerarch condition also means here definitely this kind of succession taking place in dry areas, no. So even though the succession is started in dry areas, that is also must move towards the mesic condition. So this point I will explain later, but here once I would like to explain, means whether the succession is starting in water or whether the succession is starting in dry areas, kandipa move towards the mesic condition. Don't forget this point, important for NEET examinations. Now what is the example or what are the examples now we are taking, means pond we are taking, lake we are taking and streams also we are taking examples of Hydrosere. Now succession in plant environment is quite conspicuous in standing water of moderate depth. Means here suppose succession we can be seen very clearly in aquatic environment when suppose if you are taking quite conspicuous in standing water. Suppose if you take a standing water particle things, so definitely the succession is conspicuous, means that will be very clear. So when it will be very clear, that must be standing water with moderate depth, means not that much huge depth. So in moderate depth, suppose if you are taking kandipa we can find out which one succession, very clear succession in aquatic environment. I hope you understood this one more time. Succession in aquatic environment is quite conspicuous in standing water of moderate depth. Next one, it is very slow. So when it will be very slow and inconspicuous, suppose if the water body having great depth or strong wave action. So means here, suppose this particular succession will be very slow and this particular succession will not be appeared very clearly, inconspicuous, that is the meaning. When if the water body having great depth, suppose null depth is there, very great depth is there, in that particular time definitely we could not see the very clear structure or the very clear information regarding the plant's succession, how it is going to be taken place. Next one, various developmental stages in a hydrosere, means here I told you already, only one stage, only with one stage will not be completed. Definitely various different stages will be there in a hydrosere. So definitely one by one now let us see. So in primary succession, in water, definitely pioneers or small phytoplanktons. So here one important point here we need to take or we need to consider. Suppose if you are going to take a hydrosere, definitely in a plant's succession, in primary succession, suppose that succession is going to be taken place in water, definitely pioneers or small phytoplanktons. So pioneers or nothing but, suppose here pioneers means first occupying plants. So first what are the organisms are present on that area, so we will be calling as pioneers. This is subject information, try to save this point in your mind. Now, so first of all in primary succession in water, pioneers are phytoplanktons. So later they are replaced by or they are replaced with time by rooted hydrophytes, then by free floating angiosperms. Don't forget one point. First of all, in that particular series, in that particular succession, first of all, which one we can be seen? Phytoplanktons. Next one, rooted hydrophytes we can be seen. Later, which one we can be seen? Free floating angiosperms. After free floating angiosperms, sedges, sedges, sedges we can be seen. Next one, grasses we can be seen, and finally which one we can be seen? Trees we can be seen. Now in climax again would be the forest. Means here suppose if you are taking any kind of ecosystem, kandipa what is the point here we can understand, means climax community we can be seen, that climax community definitely ends with forest. So means suppose whatever may be that ecosystem or whatever may be that succession, kandipa it must be reached to the forest or it must be reached to the climax condition. So that climax only we are taking as forest. Is a NEET examination point of view important. So with the time water body is converted into land. Means here actually here the succession we have started in water. Means here the succession is started in the water, but finally that water bodies are converted into land. So don't forget this one. Means here once the forest formation taking place, so definitely we can understand, so that particular succession is moving towards the climax. So in the climax definitely which one we can be seen? Forest we can be seen. Means here what is the point now we have to understand, means water bodies here the converted into land. So here very important point, even though succession is started in the water, definitely that particular water bodies are converted into land. So now Xerosere, before learn regarding Xerosere, let me explain this Hydrosere or hydrarch succession by one more time. So now hydrarch succession or hydrosere that are taking place in water. So that's why this particular environment we will be calling as a hydraulic succession. So next one, there various stages we can be seen in hydraulic succession, we will be calling as a hydrosere. Next one, here the successional series. So means here the successional series progress from the hydric to mesic conditions, definitely that way is moving towards the hydric to mesic conditions. Examples: pond, lake, streams and etc. Next word, succession in an aquatic environment is quite conspicuous, and one more is quite conspicuous and in standing water of a moderate depth. Suppose if the depth is a very light depth, very low depth is there, means in that particular case, definitely this particular succession we can be seen in a very quiet and conspicuous, very clearly we can observe. Suppose and in another case, let us see, it is so slow and inconspicuous in water bodies having great depth or strong wave action. So here great depth is there. Suppose if the water body is having lot of depth, means in that particular stage, definitely, so which one succession will be very inconspicuous and will be very slow. Next one, various developmental stages in a hydrosere we can be seen. So what are those? So first of all, primary succession concern in water pioneers or small phytoplanktons. Next one, these are all replaced with the rooted hydrophytes. First one phytoplanktons, next one rooted hydrophytes, next one free floating angiosperms, next one sedges, SEDGAS, sedges and grasses are there, and finally which one we can be seen? Trees we can be seen. Next one, once this entire succession reach to the climax, so definitely in the climax what is the thing we can be seen? Means forest we can be seen. So with the water body is converted into land, means in this particular case, once entire succession is reached to the climax, forest formation takes place and water bodies are gradually converted into land. This is a small information regarding hydrosere. Next one, xerosere concern. So the second one is xerosere. Succession occurs in dry areas. Succession occurs in dry areas like bare rocks, sand dunes, and one more is rocky slopes. So second one, that is xerosere. Succession occurs in dry areas. Don't forget. Suppose if the succession taking place in a dry areas like bare rocks. So bare rocks is the best example we can be taken, and one more is rocky slopes we can be taken, and one more is sand dunes. Likewise, there are different types of examples we can be taken. So where there is a extreme deficiency of water, means here definitely this kind of xerosere taking place in water scarcity conditions or waterlogging conditions or scarcity conditions or water scarcity conditions is referred as xerarch succession. Among xerarch succession definitely taking place in water scarcity conditions or extreme deficiency of water. So this is easy terms to understand. Extreme deficiency of water conditions, kandipa we can see xerosere condition. So and different stages of development are collectively known as xerosere. Means here definitely xerosere is there, means there different stages, means entire succession in dry areas will not be completed with one stage. Definitely there are different types of stages will be there. Altogether we are calling as xerosere. So next one, series of progress from xeric to mesic, XERIC to MESIC. Mesic means here one point you have to understand here. What is the point here you have to understand now? Here even though hydrosere is started in the water, definitely that is also moving towards the mesic conditions we have seen. Likewise here even though xerosere is started in very extreme deficiency water scarcity conditions, that is also moving towards the mesic conditions, means whether it is a hydric or it is a xeric, definitely moving towards the mesic conditions. So here xerosere originating on rock surface is known as lithosere. So lithosere is nothing but, suppose if the xerosere is originating on rock surface, suppose if the xerosere originating on rock surface, so that particular xerosere we will be calling as lithosere. Litho means rock. Okay, ma. So now here in xerosere, even though this particular xerosere is started in the dry areas, definitely moving towards the mesic condition. So here let me give you some more information. Mesic means, that is atmospheric conditions not that much, or the soil not that much too dry or not that much too wet. Okay, mesic is just medium levels. Okay, now here in a hydrosere, even though this hydrosere starts at the water or starts in the water moving towards the mesic conditions, likewise here even though this xerosere starts at the dry areas, definitely moving towards the mesic conditions. So this point is important for NEET examinations, so try to save in your mind clearly. Now suppose if any kind of xerosere going to originated or going to be started on the rock surface, so that particular thing we will be calling as lithosere. Why? Because litho means rock. Lithosere is nothing but, suppose if the xerosere originating on the rock's surface, so that particular thing we will be taking as lithosere. Next one, pioneers. Pioneers to colonize the primitive substratum are known as lichens as well as mosses. So here in xerosere definitely pioneers are, these pioneers, what are the pioneers? Are the lichens and one more is mosses. These pioneers definitely colonize the primitive substratum, Next one, lichens are able to secrete some kind of acids to dissolve the rocks, so by the process of weathering. Don't forget, so first of all rocks will be there, these rocks are getting, which one getting or converted into the soil by the process of weathering. So here these lichens secretes some kind of acids, so to dissolve the rocks. So this helps the process of disintegration of the rocks and helps in the formation of soil, so by the process of weathering. One more time, lichens are able to secrete some kind of acids to dissolve the rocks, and this helps in the process of disintegration of the rocks and helps in the formation of soil by the process of weathering. Next one, this is soil substrate now paves the way to some plants, so like bryophytes, and gradually they are with the time succeeded by the bigger plants, and ultimately a stable climax forest formation takes place. So here all the time climax community, so which one we are taking? Forest. Means here first of all on the bare rocks lichens are present, later bryophytes or the mosses are present, later herbs are present, later shrubs are present, later forest. This particular forest now we will be taking as forest climax community. Means now here what is the entire explanation is going to be taken place, means first of all lichens secretes some kind of acids, so thereby rocks are gradually converted into soil. Once the soil formation takes place, that particular soil definitely provides a suitable conditions for the formation of new plants known as bryophytes. So gradually with the time succeeded by the higher plants. So there are different types of higher plants formation, takes place. So ultimately which one formation? That particular succession moving towards the stable climax forest community. So definitely finally stable climax forest community is formed. For example, first of all lichens are present, lichens stage, later mosses stage we can be seen, next one herbs stage, next one shrubs stage, and finally forest stage we can be seen. Now this is entire information regarding xerosere. Now students, one more time let me explain. So now here successions, two types are there. One is Hydrosere and one more is Xerosere. Now let us learn regarding Hydrosere. Now Hydrosere is also known as hydrarch succession. So now plants succession, it takes place in aquatic environment, is known as hydrarch succession. So there are different types of stages are there. All stages together we are calling as Hydrosere. Now so definitely this kind of successional series progress from the hydric to mesic conditions. Already this point I have given in so many times. So next one, for example, pond, lake, streams and etc. Next one, succession in aquatic environment is quite conspicuous in standing water with moderate depth. Suppose if the depth is very less, so in that particular stage, definitely succession in aquatic environmental conditions we can see very clearly. Next one, suppose if the depth is very more. If the depth is more, at the time succession is slow as well as inconspicuous. So here there are different types of stages are there. So first of all, in primary succession in water, pioneers are nothing but phytoplanktons. Don't forget, it is important. So definitely in water concerned pioneers are phytoplanktons. Next one, ultimately, so this one, so these phytoplanktons are replaced by rooted hydrophytes, later free floating angiosperms, later sedges and grasses, and finally trees. So means in this particular case climax, so definitely reach towards the forest. So here climax and finally reach to the forest, as well as water bodies also finally converted into land. Later Xerosere concerned, succession is occurring in dry areas like bare rocks, sand dunes, and one more is rocky slopes, etc. So where there is extreme deficiency of water conditions we can be seen. So that particular thing we will be calling as hydrarch succession. So now here there are different stages are there. So different stages all or collectively we will be calling as Xerosere. So now the series of progress from the xeric to mesic conditions. So definitely the progress everything going to be taken place from the xeric conditions to mesic conditions. So suppose if the Xerosere is going to be started on the rock's surface, that we will be calling as lithosere. Suppose if the xeric conditions or the lithosere going to be originated on the rock's surface, we will be calling as lithosere. Next one, in lithosere or in Xerosere, what are the pioneers? The pioneers are primitive substratum, or these pioneers colonize, means adapted to stay on the primitive substratum. So what are the pioneers we can be taken? Lichens and one more is mosses. So these lichens as well as mosses definitely are able to secrete some kind of acids, So because of the releasing of these acids, so these rocks dissolution taking place. So this helps in the formation of disintegration of the rocks and helps in the formation of soil. So here, so these rocks are gradually disintegrated by the process of weathering, and finally soil formation takes place. This soil substratum now paves the way to small plants formation. For example, bryophytes. Gradually these are all with the time succeeded by bigger plants, and ultimately a stable climax of forest formation takes place. So for example lichens are there. First of all, lichens are present on the Xerosere, later mosses, later herbs, later shrubs, and finally climax community forest formation takes place. Likewise, in Xerosere, various stages we can be seen. So first of all rocks, from the rocks to finally soil formation takes place. Once the soil formation is completed, definitely that facilitates or that helps in the formation of large trees, and finally that entire thing reach to the climax community. Best example is forest.